Hello everyone, welcome back to Planet Zoo, and as you can see we're back in Sundar Zoo. As promised, we are going to be working with the brand new Australia DLC for this build. I sort of got the DLC quite late in the afternoon on Tuesday, so yeah, pretty much all day yesterday. I had the day spare to play on it, so yeah, spent most of the day building this koala habitat, which turned out really nice in the end. Like all of the animals in this game, took a lot of playing about with. But yeah, I mean, it took me a while to build this, but like I say, we get something looking fairly good in the end, and I'm pretty happy with. I had to take the time on this one, so it is a pretty long episode. Although we do have quite a lot of cinematic shots and stuff at the end, you know, like shots of the animals and stuff, so you can really get to see how they react in their habitat. Obviously everyone and their dog has been putting up videos about the Australia pack, you know, creators that are far more established than myself. So if you're well into the game, you've probably seen everything already, so this is really just my take on it, and sort of what I went for. I will talk later on a little bit about what I think of the pack in a bit more detail, but first I'm just going to explain what we're building here. So the idea for this habitat was a koala treetop trail, sort of like, you know, when you in a zoo you have these sort of nice walkways up in the treetops, usually for things like birds, but obviously we don't have anything like that. I just thought it worked quite well for koalas, because obviously they're quite a lot of the time they're up climbing trees. Although unfortunately these particular ones haven't really been doing much climbing, they're mainly on the ground. But in the enclosure that I build here, I do put a little viewing area downstairs as well, so you can see them on the ground from inside. As far as I know, koalas can bite, so it's not one of them animals where you can walk right through the habitat and you can get to the animals. There is a distance between them, although some of the pathways do sort of overlap the border. But it's yeah, I made it so that the animals and the guests are quite separate. So sort of I started working on the main building, and then I built a path going out from it using the Q path and delete technique. This gets changed anyway because of where the habitat goes after this, but firstly I'm sort of getting the main building complete. I always like getting these new packs, playing about with the pieces, seeing what I can do with them, but for this build I did have to use quite a lot of other pieces as well in with the Australia pieces. It's not just I try to use as many of the new pieces as possible, but it's not entirely made from them, because, well, I didn't want to do something exactly the same as what everyone else is doing, and also I just felt like for what I wanted to create I needed to use some different pieces as well. But it really is a useful addition to the game, what we've got in this pack. So like you can see, I've put the new walls in. There's two types of new walls in the pack. There's these sort of classic Australian walls, which are very similar to the New World ones, but slightly different colours, slightly different material I think as well. I really like these walls. I would say I wish there was more recolourable walls, but I don't think for this type of wall that would really work. The other type of wall we get is a sort of steel wall, like what you get on a container or something. I can't remember, like rust, sort of rusty sort of thing, and that they are recolourable. But to be honest, I can't really think of many situations where I'd use them in a zoo, unless it's just for a backstage area or something. I think I'd have preferred to see them that type of wall in Planet Coaster, to be honest. But yeah, I thought maybe we could have had a couple more types of wall. Like, personally, I prefer the scenery. I think a lot of people would prefer more animals in the packs, but for me, I prefer to pay 20 quid and get twice as much scenery. And you know, I'm not that fussed about the animals because I've not been playing this game for ages anyway, so I've not even seen a quarter of the animals yet. You know, I've not, you know, built that many habitats anyway. I suppose if you've been playing the game solidly for a year now, sort of since when it came out, then you will have probably used pretty much, you know, all the animals at some point. So when you get a new content pack, you probably do want to see more animals. But I think the ones that they've implemented into this are great. The koala bears are really nice. The kangaroos, the koalas are the only ones I've played with so far. The kangaroos, I've seen other YouTubers do habitats for those. I think it's great how they give birth. That's really take it to the next level sort of thing with the game. Yeah, the animations for that are fantastic. So yeah, it might even be worth getting the DLC just to see that. But yeah, all in all, there's quite a lot of scenery pieces, but most of them are just things you can use for the one purpose, which is understandable because it is an Australia pack. It's completely different to anything we've had before, and you know, I can understand, you know, that you want really heavily themed pieces like that, but for me personally, I just prefer stuff that can be used a bit more multi-purpose. It doesn't all have to fit into the theme it's meant for, like the big sort of metal kangaroo statue or whatever it is. For me, that's something I'd probably never use. And you know, they probably spent a lot of time making it, and it does look great, but it's just pieces like that just don't really interest me. I prefer to make my own sort of stuff, but I'm no good at making things out of art shapes, so yeah. I'm a bit stuck really. Sometimes I just have to use the in-game stuff. But yeah, honestly, like I do think the DLC is really great. It's already given me a lot of hours of play that I've really enjoyed. Onwards and upwards, I suppose, to the next DLC. I reckon they'll probably do another one, like another continent, maybe a Europe pack or something, and then look at something different, because pretty much everything else is covered now. Obviously you've got South America, maybe a bit more North America stuff would be good. But yeah, Africa, Asia, Australasia, all covered now. Don't know why I'm already thinking about what the next one's going to be when this one's only just come out. Maybe a bit demanding there. I mean, fair play to Frontier and all their developers and staff for getting this out during the lockdown. Well, obviously working on this during the lockdown when a lot of them would have had to work from home. Yeah, it's very impressive. And yeah, all in all, it's a great pack. So that's my views on the DLC. Back to the build then. Like I say, it's a treetop trail sort of habitat. But there's this main front building where the guests can see the koalas from inside, from ground level. There's two viewing platforms, one upstairs, one downstairs. So if they don't want to do the trail, they can just see the koala bears from there. And there's your sort of education and stuff, and a couple of decorations in there. Not heavily themed inside, like I said. I don't really do interiors. Although, having said that, there's some really cool gift shop pieces that someone's uploaded to Steam Workshop. So when I do my gift shop, I'll definitely be putting those in. But that's for another time. So really, I didn't want to rush to get this video out, hence why it's a couple of days after the release. But yeah, I did, like I say, I spent quite a lot of time on it. But, oh, sorry, banging my computer around. Right, there we go, the microphone just decided to jump down, and at the same time I elbowed the computer. Not a good combination. I might edit that out, I might not, because I've not really got time. I need to sort of look at getting this rendered today, and my computer can take anything from half an hour to 4 hours to render something, depending on what mood it's in. To be honest, that's how it is at the moment. Fortunately, we've stopped having crashes recently, so it is running a lot nicer. So that's something. Let me actually talk about what I'm building again then. So yeah, just using mainly the DLC pack pieces. I've put some custom roofs in there using just standard recolorable post pillars. I think they're from the South America pack. Using all the different walls and textures and blocks of wood and stuff in different ways, and sinking the windows in using sort of open wall, and then putting some pillars, but different, recoloured pillars in round them to make them fit in nicely there. Obviously the first thing, I probably should have spoke about this right at the start of the video, but I needed to introduce it while I was building this. I'm not really sure what it's meant to be, it just looks cool. That's using all new DLC curved posts, which I think are really cool pieces. You've got the rusty ones, the brown ones, and the recolorable ones that are slightly different texture. Put together like that, I think they look great, and I've used them all around the habitat for little canopies to go over each sort of platform. You'll see what I mean as and when I build it, which is much later in the episode. But yeah, that's probably my favourite piece that's come with the pack. That and the nice walls that we're using here. Honestly, I think they've done a really good job on some of these pieces. They look great. For some reason I just felt the building needed a bit more variation, so I stuck a bell tower on it, as if you'd really have one of them on a building like this. But whatever, we're not going for ultra realism. I just feel it looked nice, and I just really wanted to play around with the pack. That's the whole intention of this habitat. But it will be a small Australian area for the park. Whether we get the kangaroo in or try out one of the other animals, the dingo or something, I'm not sure yet. We'll work on that as and when we come to it, but I'll probably go back to a different, probably back to the entrance area of the zoo in the next one, maybe work on a gift shop or something. As I've sort of jumped to the second themed area. We still haven't finished the first themed area, which is the Indian area either, so I will want to go back and work on that at some point. But yeah, there's not an awful lot to say about this build. Really, inside the habitat itself, it's a bit of rock work and some trees, and I make a nice climbing frame for them out of logs, which they do actually use, which is really, really cool. You'll see that in the cinematic at the end. Another thing I love about the pack is the new foliage, the new trees we've got. They look awesome. Yeah, really, really happy with those. And you'll see me place lots of them in here. There's also a koala climbing tree feeder that they actually use as part of the new pack, which is really cool too, so I put a few of those in. In fact, they need that for their welfare. So yeah, I will leave you to watch the rest of the build, and I'll come back at the end to talk about it. Enjoy. Okay, welcome back. Yeah, as you can see, a lot of work, a lot of fiddling about. Like I say, this was a full day and a bit's work. Probably spent about an hour on it when I first got the pack, and then just the whole day yesterday. And yeah, worth it, because I'm really happy with how this turned out. Probably one of my best habitats to date. I'm still struggling a bit with issues like the every now and then I get an update saying that the keepers can't access a habitat, and I think that's a bug, because I literally remove a bit of path, put it back, and then they can get there again. I've had it with 2 different habitats, and the koalas kept escaping. They kept clipping through a bit of fence, a bit of habitat wall, which was definitely secure enough to stop them doing that, so I just removed it and put it back again, and then that seemed to stop happening. But beware, because these koalas will climb up anything, so you can't put things too near the edge of the exhibit, or the habitat rather. But that's pretty much it for this one then. I hope you're enjoying the new pack. I hope you enjoyed the video. Enjoy the lovely cinematic shots and the view of the koalas, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.